to be confirmed, not yet finalized. Hi, Susan. Can you hear us? Working. Okay, so it's 8:30. Maybe Terence wants to start.
Thank you, Bante. CO2 and good evening, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Welcome to MSBS Weekly Meditation by Phra Goh. Today is the 21st of December 2021 and it's the last class for today, and we'll start again in next year. We'll announce on our Facebook page when is the recurring date. Today is for Chinese, we are celebrating winter solstice. We wish every Chinese in the world happy winter solstice day, and in advance, happy New Year. Okay, we are very grateful to have with us Bante Adhibalo, popularly known as Phra Goh. Bante was born on July 14, 1985 and was ordained in 2008 at Santi Force Monastery, Johor, Malaysia. Bante is currently the religious advisor to Buddhist Youth Network Singapore and has been conducting MSBS weekly Tuesday guided meditation since last year. Tonight, we hopefully Bante can finish the Ratana Sutta. Now let us compose our minds. Oh, sorry, before I forget, if any listeners out there from Facebook wish to have some topics that you want Bante to talk on, do put on the comment section. Okay, now let us compose our minds, put our palms together and welcome Bante. Over to you, Bante.
Okay, thank you, Terence, for the introduction. So now we are going to do the opening chant and the homage. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Three refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. And 5 precepts. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kamesu Michachara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Suramiraya Manjapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so good evening, everyone. And tonight, I think we've mentioned tonight is the last lesson for this year. So I try to complete this topic hopefully by tonight. It's the Ratana Sutta. So we've already discussed some qualities of the triple gem, and we shall continue from where we ended. Okay, so yeah, we are starting with this. So because previously we talked about the Sangha jewel also, about how no matter how negligent an Arya or a noble being can be, if they still have greed and hatred, the moles, they get reborn 7 lifetimes, yeah, maximum. So, what are the criteria? What is the criteria to sort of become this noble disciple? Right. So, verse number 10, it goes like this: just with his gaining of insight, he abandons 3 states of mind. So the first state is self-identity view. Right, it's got to do with my identity, I'm Malaysian, I'm Singaporean, that's all this identity view. Skeptical doubt, so this is the second state of mind. That is doubt with regard to the Dhamma, the Four Noble Truths, not just theoretical doubt, this one is experiential kind of doubt being removed. And the third one, and whatsoever, grasping to mere rules and observances. So this is the third state of mind. So these are the 3, we call them fetters, yeah? Fetters. So I've already explained this in one of my previous chapters. So basically a short sort of rundown on these 3 things. I would say first a person overcomes this skeptical doubt of the Four Noble Truths. You have to practice reducing greed, reducing hatred, reducing desire first. And when these things get reduced, they experience this inner peace, this spiritual kind of joy or spiritual kind of happiness. So that is in line with the Four Noble Truths, the path leading to the end of suffering. And a person practices thoughts of non-greed, thoughts of non-hatred, and they get this spiritual peace. Then they know, okay, this is another form of happiness, another form of peace. It is not essential kind of happiness. So they experience this. And when they start having greed, start having hatred, then this happiness is gone. Yeah, so this will be etched in their mind. Yeah? So this doubt of spirituality will be gone. So they know it's a real thing. And this happiness cannot be achieved by clinging to identity view, because it has to be done by detachment. So if a person has greed and hatred, they will have identity view. I identify myself as a Singaporean, or I identify myself as a Chinese, or I identify myself as a Buddhist, or whatever it is. So you cling on. And because with excessive greed and hatred, you depend on this identity for happiness. And when you depend on this identity comes with certain habits, comes with certain rites, rituals, observances, certain rules. We always talk about, okay, let's say it's this Dongzhi festival, this winter solstice festival. Depending on culture, different culture will celebrate it differently. Right, so like for the Chinese culture, they'll have to eat this tang yuan. Yeah, this what do you call this? This soup with this glutinous ball of sesame seed, right? So no, that's more like Chinese culture. right? So in other places, they will celebrate it differently. Because in Japan, do you celebrate this also? In Japan?
Phra Goh, if you don't mention about Dongzi, I forgot. I we don't practice that in Japan. So
Okay. Okay, so Japanese don't have no celebration on winter
there's no
solstice.
celebration, and I
Okay.
haven't had Tang Yuan for the past 10 years.
Okay.
Now that you
All
remind
right.
me.
Yeah. So I was thinking places with winter we will celebrate it because a place like Singapore or Malaysia
I
or
think it's a
oh,
very Chinese thing because my friends who are from Hong Kong, who are from Taiwan, from mainland, maybe southern part of mainland China, I think they have that, but we
okay.
don't have that in China. I don't think they have that in Korea as well.
I see. I see.
I think it's a Chinese thing.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
Okay. So
So I
maybe
think that
not
is
many
also, I mean,
places
clinging
celebrate.
on to it is also Silabata Paramasa, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's the clinging to these rules and observance. Okay, so if let's say like in for Upatisa's case is in Japan, maybe there's not many Chinese community there. They don't celebrate this cooking of this soup. Then no, it's all right. No, he find it all right not to celebrate it, not to drink that soup. And he's all right. No, he's not upset or anything for not celebrating, right? So that is one example of not clinging to the rules. So if a person cling to the rule, then they will find very upset, if they don't celebrate it the way they want, right? So this is one example. Yeah, so the three things come together. First, you need to remove this doubt in the Four Noble Truth and the followed by self-identity view and followed by the rules and observance associated with the identity view. So total these three things. So if a person overcome these three things, doesn't mean they have no rights and ritual at all. Because every day we have certain kind of habit, certain kind of certain style, certain routine to follow. And the whole idea is if you don't have a chance to execute this routine, it won't be the end of you. Yeah? You won't be overly frustrated. It won't affect you so much because at least you know, no, there is a higher form of happiness other than this routine. All right, so this is overcoming. So the only way to do it is to reduce greed and hatred. So it's very in line with Four Noble Truth also. Okay, so next sentence, he is also fully free from rebirth in the four woeful worlds, apayas. So some classification talk about three lower realms, so this one is four. So most probably they include the Asura realm. Asura, yeah? So the Asura is a bit like the demigod or the demon kind of realm. Sometimes people classify them higher than the human realm. Sometimes they're being classified lower. So in this case, they're classified lower due to their very jealous state of mind, right? So there's unwholesome state of mind, so it's being classified lower. And we have the other realms. We have hell realm being the lowest, followed by the hungry ghost and the animal realm. So these are total the four kinds of realms, lower realms, woeful realms. Okay, and is incapable of committing six major misdeeds. So there are these six things a person commit. It is believed that it's a very, very heavy karma. We call them heinous crimes. So if a person commit these six unwholesome things, it is believed that a person will be destined to go to the hell realm. Definitely go to hell realm. So these are the six things. So let's start with the popular five. First one, patricide, that means killing of the father, killing of your own father. So this is a very heinous crime. Please do not do it. The number two, killing of one's mother, matricide. This is number two. And number three, wounding of Buddha. It is believed that no, Buddha cannot be killed. So some people manage to injure the Buddha, like this Venerable Devadatta, he managed to wound the Buddha. So this is the third heinous crime. And the fourth heinous crime is killing an arahant. That means if you kill an enlightened being, so that is a heinous crime. Huh? And the fifth one, creating a schism in the Sangha. That means causing the Sangha to split. So these are the five heinous crimes. And the number six kind of misdeed is this having a close to permanent wrong view, perpetual wrong view, holding on to a very strong kind of wrong view. So that is the sixth major mistake. So total there are six. For example, the sixth one would be like, let's say, example, maybe killing people or blowing up buildings will send you to a heavenly plane, for example. So if they strongly believe in this, then they, no matter how they rehabilitate, if they hold on to strong view, sometimes they cannot change. So this one will result in a very low kind of rebirth, in the sort of the lower destination. Okay, so verily in the Sangha is this superb jewel by virtue of this truth, may there be well-being. Okay, so like one of the misdeeds, like this schism of the Sangha, for layperson don't have to worry. It is believed only a Sangha can create a schism in the Sangha. So there's something to worry. The killing of the Buddha also don't have to worry. Some Buddha not around anymore. So the rest, just be careful. So for a noble person, Arya, they won't commit it. So if a person is still not yet an Arya, play safe, don't do it. Okay, and number 11, verse 11, any evil action he may still commit by body, speech, or mind, he is incapable of concealing it. For it is said that such incapability of one who has seen the path of Nibbana verily in the Sangha is the superb jewel by virtue of its truth, may there be well-being. So in the Sangha there is this thing called confession. The monastic community, there's confession like at least every Patimokkha, every new and full moon days, any mistakes that we do, then we will confess to another Sangha member, right? So, so the whole idea is to rehabilitate ourselves if we have any mistakes, and this is the idea of the path, right? So if a person commits wrong and they tell lies and try to hide it, this will be harmful for their growth. So a person who confesses and they seek rehabilitation, seek changes, seek transformation, then they can improve in the practice. Okay, so for layperson, aside from asking forgiveness from the Triple Gen every day, they can also go to their the monastic who gave them the precepts, who administer them the precept, to seek consultation or ask for forgiveness or renew their precepts. So this is again case by case basis. Normally they can do it in the new and full moon days. All right. Next. Okay, so the next few verses a bit straightforward. It's more like praising using metaphors. So I don't really have to explain so much. So number 12, as a woodland grove is crowned with blossoming flowers during the heat of the first month of summer. Even so, crowned is the sublime Dhamma, leading to Nibbana, which he, the Buddha, expounded for the highest good. Verily, in the Buddha is the superb jewel. By virtue of this truth, may there be well-being. And so this is praising the Buddha, and is probably describing, that the Dhamma, that the Sammasambuddha or the Supreme Buddha is able to preach, is able to blossom far and in a large area. Right? There are other kinds of Buddhas. We call them the Pacceka Buddha or the silent Buddha. They realize the truth by themselves, but unable to teach, unable to spread the teaching. So the Dhamma won't bloom far and wide. He just realizes it for himself. So that is a silent Buddha. And there's a third kind of Buddha. This depends on how you label it. They call them the Savaka Buddha or the hearer Buddhas. So basically all the Arahants, after the Buddha got enlightened, when the teaching is around, and they got enlightened through those teachings, these are called the Savaka Buddha, hearer Buddhas. So like all the Buddha's disciples who got enlightened, like Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Moggallana, all they can be technically called Savaka Buddha. So these terminologies probably came later, not from the suttas. Okay, so these are the three kinds of Buddha. So down here they're probably praising the first kind of Buddha, the Supreme Buddha, able to discover the truth by him or herself. Then they're able to expound the teaching. So this is the Buddha jewel. Okay, and number 13, he, the sublime one, the Buddha, the knower of the sublime Nibbana, the giver of the sublime Dhamma, the bringer of the sublime noble path, the peerless one, the Buddha taught the sublime Dhamma. Verily, in the Buddha is the superb jewel. By virtue of this truth, may there be well-being. Right, so there we go. He's able to teach the sublime truth. Right, he's the giver of this truth. So he's praising the Buddha jewel. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is the Sangha jewel. So their old karma is destroyed. No new karma is produced. Okay, so this is talking about the state of an Arahant. So only a fully enlightened disciple of the Buddha will experience this. So things like stream enterer, the first stage of sainthood, if you just clear only the 3 lower fetters, still can create karma. But for a fully enlightened disciple, no new karma is produced. And their mind is unattached to future rebirth. Those wise ones, with the seed of rebirth consciousness destroyed, and with no more desire for further growth, go out as the flame of the lamp. Verily, in the Sangha is this superb jewel. By virtue of this truth, may there be well-being. So they're talking about this term. We talked about this before in the previous series. This thing called rebirth, linking consciousness. So that is post-canonical kind of terminology. So basically, when no karma is produced, right, then naturally no more, consciousness. So if you look at the dependent origination model, karmic formations come first before consciousness. So if karma is or that if no new karma is being generated, then naturally it won't produce the desire or whatever planes of consciousness. So the enlightened being will have a different kind of consciousness. Arahant will have Arahant kind of consciousness. Stream winner will have a stream winner kind of consciousness, and so on. Right. So with regard to the Four Noble Truths, new karma is basically the second noble truth. Any kind of reaction with greed or hatred that is creating new karmas, that is desire, right? And old karmas is basically the first noble truth. Old age, sickness, death is the old karmas. Anything we experience with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, that is old karmas. So this one, if a person practices more of this vipassana, of insight meditation, then we can understand how reaction to any of the sense stimuli will create tension, will create suffering. Right? So only if a person truly experience this state of seeing things as they really are, non-intervention, then they will produce no new karma. Right? So, and going out as the flame of a lamp. So this is always the description of Nibbana. Some people, the Buddha give example. Imagine if the flame of the candle is something like rebirth. So like, if let's say one candle, you want to pass on to another candle. It's a bit like the process of rebirth. So we'll take up a new body. So the new body is like a new candle. And our old body is like the previous candle. Right? So if a person sort of experiences Nibbana, it's like the flame going off. So there's no passing on from one candle to the other. Right? So next slide. Okay, so this is the ending. So the ending is spoken by this King Saka, which is the one of the kings of the 33 gods in this Tavatimsa heaven. So he recited these last 3 verses. Now, whatever beings are here assembled, whether terrestrial or celestial, let us revere the perfect Buddha honored by gods and men. May there be well-being. And the second verse, same thing. So honor the perfect Dhamma, and the third verse to honor the Sangha. So total 3 jewels. And in the Theravada Buddhist chant, we chant the whole thing, including this thing. And some people wonder, how are those evil spirits being dispelled or being sort of chased away or invited away? Because there's some divine intervention. You need this Saka, Lord of the 33 gods, to help usher those spirits away. Right? So if you chant, and may or may not work. Okay, so there ends the presentation. All right, just nice, 9 o'clock, and we open the floor for Q&A. Last session for the year, so please do feel free to shoot all your questions, clear any doubt, so that you can enjoy the holidays. Or anyone from Facebook. Yes, yeah.
Ante, I have some comments, just thoughts, right? Okay, just now you mentioned about the 3 types of Buddha, right? Sammasambuddha, Pacceka Buddha, and Savakkha Buddha. So, I don't know, let me keep me thinking that actually Sammasambuddha, right? You're saying that he find the path, by himself, right? But I think, Bante, I just think a little bit more critical. Actually, a Sammasambuddha is a disciple of many Buddhas. Because in his past lives, he learned from many Buddhas. he becomes students of many Buddhas. It is not the matter of he find it by himself, but I think something to do with lineage, that he start a new lineage, because at the time that he achieved that Buddha, there is no other Buddha in the universe. He start one lineage, but he's a disciple of many Buddhas. What do you think, Bhante?
Okay, thanks for pointing out. So maybe I need to be more precise in my this terminology. So probably, to be more technically correct, it would be like the first person to rediscover the Dhamma and the path to enlightenment at the age where no one else is able to reach enlightenment. So you're the first person to rediscover the path. So that would consider as the Buddha and able to teach, so that's a supreme Buddha.
Yeah. Okay, so he's the first, is the lineage creator, right, in this case? Because starting from him, then
in the past, we won't know, but definitely he would have encountered, and also everyone is interdependent.
Right. So, okay, let's talk about this. I have a second question, just a thought as well, just a little bit. So in the Theravada Buddhism, right, when we're going to achieve enlightenment, right, it is said that you do it by yourself, by your own effort, learn the Dhamma, practice it, do some contemplation, and then reach a certain understanding, certain wisdom, then you reach enlightenment, right, without the help of others. Right, this is one method that I understand. Not sure.
Yeah, there's always strong emphasis on spiritual friends called Kalyana Mittas or mentors, depending on how you want to look at it. Yeah, so you need like a guide. Yeah, very important.
Right. So, but the influence from the Kalyana Mitta is basically is the talking about the method, talking about talking about the teaching itself, which is it was discussed, verbally, or by the friends, around. Okay, let's go to the other one, right? The other method, which is the Mahayana method, right? Or the Tantrayana method, right? Which is actually they rely a lot on they call it the emanation of Buddha, which is the deities, deities, and then actually they try to like merging the consciousness with the deities, and then there's certain level that actually bring it up, the energy, merge, and then there is certain enlightenment. So there is another method, which one I understand. So let me understand, but what do you think is more efficient, effective?
Okay, in the recollections, we have these 6 anusatis. There's Buddha Anusati, mindfulness of the Buddha, kind of meditation. There is also this Devata Anusati, mindfulness of the qualities of the Devas. So all these are recognized as official Buddhist method. But of course, every person or every lineage, every teacher, every style will have different method of doing it.
So you're saying,
as long as it works, it makes a person more wholesome, reduces greed and hatred, then that's for you.
I see. Because you say many times there are 84,000 of ways to reach enlightenment, right? So one way, but you are saying that the method with the help of the deities or devas, right, are not official, in terms of your Theravada perspective.
As long as you think of them in a way, you can call them helping, or depends on perspective. Because in the end, it's your own effort. But when you sort of recollect of them, you get inspired by their qualities or their virtues. So in a way, it depends on how you want to look at it. Because of their existence, that's why you benefit from that practice. So you can call it them helping you. Right, but ultimately, it's still we need to create the karma.
Okay, Bhante, thank you.
Okay. Yes, Terence. Yes.
I have a comment. On this, I think the path is the Eightfold Path. It's not by any other being. We have to walk the Eightfold Path ourselves.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So like contemplating on any divine being, be it a Buddha or a Bodhisattva or other deities, guardian deities. When we think of their qualities and their virtues, we are producing thoughts of non-greed, non-hatred, thoughts of faith. That is a kind of wholesome kind of thought, wholesome karma. So the whole idea is to keep producing this wholesome karma until it reaches the saturation point. And then the mind will enter this stillness, this samadhi. Yeah, so in a way, all these are perceptions. So it doesn't matter it's a Buddha image or you think of your hair or your teeth or all sentient beings. So all these are perception. We are not training those images. Yeah, we are training actually the mind. So if you have wholesome intention, then your mind gets brightened. You're purifying your mind. So vice versa, a person can think of a divine image, can be a Buddha, can be a deity, whatever. Then they have unwholesome thought. They curse and swear. So it's producing negative karma. So it doesn't help. So this one is, we are not training the image. Yeah, we are training this cognitive process where we experience the world. We are training how to detach from these five aggregates. Yeah, we experience our vision, our sight. We experience this computer device or electronic device through the five aggregates. We perceive the triple gems through the five aggregates. Yeah, we perceive our body through the five aggregates. So ultimately, it's about detachment of the five aggregates. Okay, hopefully that answers the question. Anyone else?
I think the sutta mentions that the two conditions to attain stream entry is the first one being to listen to the words of a Sappurisa, the words of a Buddha, and the second one is Yoniso Manasikara, which so the first one you have to so by yourself, if you're anything short of a Pacceka Buddha or Sama Sambuddha, you will need to become a Savaka. In other words, you need to get inputs from external beings. Then the second one is probably very important as well, which is Yoniso Manasikara, which you have to do it by yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, proper attention to the investigation of the Dhamma,
investigation of the source, which we have to do it by ourselves. I mean, no teacher can do the Yoniso Manasikara for us.
Yeah, definitely. It's that's why it's an experiential truth. It's not merely theory. Not like hearing my talk and that's it. We need to meditate and experience it. Need to investigate. Thanks for the input, Upatissa. Anyone else? Any comments or questions? All no doubt already. Okay, then we can go for a 5-minute break. At the meantime, you can maybe think of questions or suggestions for future topics. Then we'll see you back in 9:15, 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, probably have one more minute. Any one? Okay, not everyone's back. Okay, has anyone come up with questions or new suggestions for future topics? It looks like no one eager to meditate. Okay, start off with finding a comfortable posture. Make sure your back is upright. And your body relaxed. Okay, and we are now going to visualize the parts of the body, practice detachment towards the body. And we are going to wish all the hairs well and happy from head to toe. May all the hairs be well and happy. Earlier on we talked about this term called appropriate attention. So when we have any contact with any sense stimuli, and if we generate this right thought, so right now we are having right thoughts of non-hatred, which is loving kindness, so that is appropriate attention. Inappropriate attention would be let the mind autopilot, let it daydream, let it worry, let it fantasize, so that is inappropriate attention. Every time we conjure a new image, a new part of the hair, we wish it well and happy, new patch of hair well and happy. And then you need to also observe what's your state of mind or the emotion before and after producing this right thought. Are we still addicted to sensual happiness? Or are we more inclined towards spiritual kind of happiness? So this is a good indicator, which side are you on? And we can introduce thoughts of impermanence, and all these hairs go through birth, aging, sickness, and passing away. So we grow long and fall off, grow long and fall off, and we keep repeating the cycle many, many times. And the more impermanence, the more detachment. Initially, when there's still lots of attachment, and there is a strong sense of identity. This is my hair, There should be a correlation. The more you observe or investigate on impermanence, the sense of selfishness should reduce. So there will be like a point where if your mind is more inclined to non-attachment or non-identification with this selfishness, then probably you're on the right track. You're on the way. But if you still like this attachment, hold on very dearly, my hair, my this, my that, cannot let go, and still not yet enter the stream. And then we can ask ourselves, are these hairs truly self? And we tell the hairs not to go through birth and death. And the next part of the body, we are going to visualize the nails, fingernails and toenails. May they be well and happy. When we produce these thoughts of loving kindness, can we still maintain this detachment, or does this craving arise again? all these nails go through birth, aging, sickness, and passing away. And we keep visualizing the nails growing and falling many cycles. And can we tell the nails not to go through this birth and death, or the mental factors of these nails. It's not just a physical nail. There are also emotion, feelings towards the nails, perception towards the nails. And they grow long, they grow old. What kind of feelings you have? Are they constant or are they inconstant? Which emotion is the true self, true you? And we move on to the next part of the body, the teeth, or the teeth in our oral cavity. We wish them well and happy, all the upper rows of teeth and lower rows of teeth. May they be well and happy. And all these teeth go through birth, aging, sickness, and passing away. If you want to repeat more times, you can think of the bone cells of the teeth, wear and tear, growing and falling, many cycles. ask ourselves, are these teeth truly self? Can we tell the teeth how to go through birth and death? And next part of the body, we are going to visualize the skin and wish all the skin well and happy from head to toe. And again, the skin is quite a large area. Every time we think of a new patch of skin, wish it well and happy. And all the skin go through birth, aging, sickness, and passing away. And they keep growing and falling, many, many cycles. And we can ask ourselves, are the skin truly self? And we tell the skin not to go through birth and death. Okay, so however far you have detached your mind from, so that is like your high score. So using that peace, you recollect that peace and you wish all beings in front well and happy. And by the power of the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, may all beings in front be free from danger, free from fear, free from worry, free from anxiety. May they take care of themselves happily. So when you extend out also, make sure you maintain the peace. Anytime there's tension only means there's craving. So extend with detachment. And we come back to ourselves. And we wish all beings behind well and happy by the power of the Triple Gem. And may they be free from fear, worry, anxiety. May they take care of themselves happily. And we come back to ourselves. And we wish all beings on the left well and happy. And by the power of the Triple Gem. And may they be free from danger, fear, worry, disease, grief. May they take care of themselves happily. And come back to ourselves. And we wish all beings on the right well and happy. By the power of the Triple Gem, may they be free from danger, fear, worry, disease, and grief. May they take care of themselves happily. And we come back to ourselves. And now we wish all beings above well and happy. By the power of the Triple Gems, may they be free from danger, fear, worry, disease, grief. May they take care of themselves happily. And we come back to ourselves. And we wish all beings below well and happy. By the power of the Triple Gems, may they be free from danger, disease, grief, worry, anxiety. May they take care of themselves happily. And we come back to ourselves. This time round, we feel the sensations of the entire body. And we wish whatever sensation appear to be well and happy. So these are real-time sensation, real-time observation, no imagination, no superimposition. So they occur moment to moment. And these sensations, you can generally classify them as the four elements: the earth, fire, wind, and water elements, Earth represents any hard and soft sensations. Fire is warm and cold. Wind is fast and slow movements. And water moist or dry. So there's no need to deliberately create or control or reject those experiences. We let them occur naturally by itself. We try to see things as they are, and whatever sensation arise, we just wish them well and happy. Okay, so now this is a restricted kind of loving kindness, still within the confines of the body. And now we're going to cultivate a more boundless kind of loving kindness. So we wish all beings, all directions, may they be well and happy. No need to push the mind, let it extend naturally by itself. However far the mind wishes to extend, and that will be your universe. Yeah? And same thing, whatever sensation within that field of attention, any element arise, we wish it well and happy. So that would encompass all the sentient beings within that attention. Sensation arise, well and happy. New sensation arise, well and happy. Oh, no matter how calm, how peaceful, how pleasant the emotion, keep being mindful of this loving kindness for every sensation. It is appropriate attention. Any kind of clinging, no matter how pleasant the experience, it will be leading to inappropriate attention, and the mind will be drifted off to daydreaming. this is using loving kindness to cultivate concentration or stillness of mind. Next, we can input some insight or reflection, and we are going to observe impermanence. All phenomenon or sensations are subject to arising and passing, and we keep observing that. And the same thing, mindful of impermanence. And theory still holds on this concept of non-self. Anything that's impermanent and changing, are they truly self? Are they truly you? And even if you think you reached as though like the end point, very calm, very peaceful, also need to be mindful of impermanence. How far you can detach. Actually, the stream is a very, very long stream. And the process of detachment is a very, very long journey. So having a bit of peace and stillness is still at the beginning of the journey. And we move on to the second sublime state, right? So now we've cultivated loving kindness with concentration, insight. So now we're moving on to this compassion. So for compassion, we wish all beings, may they be free from suffering. We just use the observable here and now sensations. Sensation arise, may you be free from suffering, may you be free from decay. moment to moment, generate this wholesome thought. No need to over-imagine any drama, any scenarios, any incidents of imaginary kind of suffering that would be inappropriate attention. Real or middle ground, middle path kind of compassion should be quite peaceful or pleasant, and the calming effect is using concentration to develop samadhi. And next we add some insight. So the samatha is more optimistic. So vipassana is a bit towards the pessimistic. And we need to contemplate all beings, all phenomena, go through birth and death, birth and death. So keep observing this arising and passing all the time. To be truly free from suffering, you need to continuously reflect on impermanence. All formation are samsaric kind of traps. No matter how calm, how peaceful, all these are alluring kind of traps. Be it sensual sphere, form or formless kind of phenomenon, they are still within samsara. And this is using compassion to cultivate this concentration and insight. And the whole idea is throughout the whole routine, it's about inculcating this habit of impermanence and detachment, regardless of whatever cognitive process you're using, be it the mind fixated or expanded. It's always mindful of the wholesome thoughts all the time. And the next sublime state we are moving to is the appreciative joy. So we're going to wish all beings, may they not be separated from what they have achieved. So basically we can rejoice in the accomplishments of all beings. So in short, every sensation that appear that is gaining a new experience. So every moment all sentient beings are gaining new experience all the time, so we can rejoice every moment. Every sensation rejoice, every sensation rejoice. And this is the more middle way kind of appreciative joy. If we want to be specific, we think of certain case study or imagine a scenario, let's say certain Singaporean badminton player won certain championship, and if you want to call him a Malaysian or he's from certain state in Malaysia before he moved to Singapore, and you want to rejoice, then it's a more personalized kind of rejoicing. Do you do the same for all badminton players of all nationalities? Right, most probably not. So there's certain kind of biasness. So we call this exhilaration. We call this indirect enemy of appreciative joy. It's rejoicing infused with selfishness. So when we remove the inappropriate attention, try to avoid all the dramas, and we just focus on the moment to moment producing right thought. And we add some insight, and we're going to reflect all beings will eventually be separated from all that is dear and appealing to oneself, and we keep observing this arising and passing all the time. before we conclude the session, just a gentle reminder, you can maintain this boundless, sublime state, be it standing, sitting, walking, lying down, and always having right view of impermanence. And this is the highest kind of conduct, highest kind of practice. And with that in mind, we can gently open our eyes and end meditation officially, but informally, always meditating, whatever activity we are doing. All right, so it's 10 o'clock. Any questions or problems? If not, then we can dedicate merits. Okay, so do the dedication chant. Akasata Jakumata Devanaga Mahitika Punyanta Manamoditva Chirang Rakantu Loka Sasanam Etavata Jamhihi Sampada Punya Sampada Sabi Deva Sabi Puta Sabi Sata Anumodantu Sabha Sampati Siddhya. Transference of merits to departed. Idam Nyatina Hotu Sakita Hotu Nyatayo. Idam Nyatina Hotu Sakita Hotu Nyatayo. Idam Nyatina Hotu Sakita Hotu Nyatayo. And aspiration, Imina Punya Kamena Ame Bala Samagamo Sata Samagamo Hotu Yavani Bala Patiya. Sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so I believe the next year's session, or next session will be next year, 11th of January. So 2 weeks of break. Any announcements from Terence?
Bante.
Okay, if nothing, then I wish everyone happy winter solstice and also early Happy New Year. Happy New Year in advance. All right. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Bante. Happy New Year, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
New Year. Happy New Year.